AOC, though, she's doubling down on her nonsense. I mean, I look at this and I'm like, honestly, how was she ever an economics major? I mean, what are they teaching at Boston University? AOC calling for us all to live in subsidized housing. We're going to have to pay for her house and everybody else's house for that matter. I mean, what are we going to go back to the cement blocks like you had in the former Soviet Union? That's what I'm thinking. Very Eastern European-ish sounding, okay? And that would be best case scenario. Best case scenario would be an Eastern European kind of look. My fear is that it would be more like Venezuela, shall we say. So she's out today demanding $30 billion to be spent on housing because, you know, it's just not fair that housing costs are up so much. It's like, lady, have you not paid attention to what's been happening in the economy for the last 3.5 years? Everything costs more.
This country is staring down a full-blown housing crisis, a crisis where affordable housing is slipping further out of reach, where nonprofit housing is scarce, and where Wall Street and corporate America's greed is perpetuating our despair. More than half of American renters are spending more than 30% of their income on rent, more than ever before in U.S. history. We need to put homes back in the hands of the people and reclaim the home as a basic human right, not a commodity for profit first.
So she's just going to give everybody $25,000 along with Kamala. First-time home buyers, here you go. We're going to write you a check. You know, this has been tried before in a certain sector called college education. Yeah. And look how much college education costs you now. It's wild. It's crazy. It's disgusting, especially in light of the little that you're getting for it. So when government gets involved, sometimes it's with the best of intentions. Let's go with that. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt for 2 seconds, okay? All right, I get it. You want to reduce, you know, it's a wonderful thing to own a home. It gives a family a sense of permanency. It's a wonderful savings vehicle over the long run, usually. And usually, I mean, I couch it all, right? It keeps up with inflation, et cetera. So these are worthwhile investments for people. But for people who can actually pay the mortgage and intend to pay the mortgage, because, hey, we've been there, done that. I can think back to 2008 and good old Barney Frank, who was insisting, oh, let's just give one to all, right? Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your credit score is. It doesn't matter if you have any income. It doesn't matter. Remember they called them Nina loans? No income, no assets. Doesn't matter. Here you go. Here is a $500,000 mortgage for you, even though you don't have a job. And then they wondered why we were dealing with a subprime meltdown, because all of these mortgages were scattered through the entire system, creating a much greater risk to the entire system. The entire financial system. I mean, that was Barney saying, isn't it great that everybody can get a mortgage? And now you get AOC and the people out in California and Kamala Harris saying, not only do we want to give $25,000 for first-time home buyers, guess what else we want to do? We want to have a special sweetener. If you've never in your family bought a house before, the idea being, right, all these people that come into the country, many of whom come illegally, should be able to have access to mortgages. That's what they're talking about out in lefty California. They really, it's like, are you that young? I mean, maybe she is. She just was a kid in 2008. I mean, we don't need that kind of stress on the system again. I don't think they would actually be able to give these loans, right? I don't think that the JP Morgan Chases of the world would actually be like, here you go. They'd have to create these weird incentives and government incentives in order to make it work. That's what they want to do, and we would have real problems. Anyway, AOC may be stepping on some toes here, right? This is Kamala's territory, and occasionally Tim Walz's.
We're here in Asheville. This is one area of the state where we've seen housing prices skyrocket here. There's very little affordable housing. It's a story you see time and again. How do you think your plan can help correct
Well,
that?
first of all, the Vice President's plan starts by that. This shortage of housing units in general is 3 million new units. And she understands this is making sure that we're not seeing banks buy these things up, keep them on inventory. And then that down payment assistance. For me, I use the GI Bill. I think she's talking about making sure through tax credits that we're able to make sure people have the money to go forward.
Yeah, you know, he's an odd one to talk about investing. The guy doesn't even have a home that he owns. Really. He doesn't have any stocks. I don't know. Maybe he's got some gold hidden somewhere. Who knows? But Tim Walz, I mean, he's been making 6 figures for how many years now? and he doesn't own any assets, it actually makes me kind of nervous. He's actually either really financially illiterate and doesn't know how to open, say, an E-Trade account or something where you can trade stocks for free or anything other than, your normal bank account, or he's deliberately shunning any kind of ownership of anything. I mean, that kind of gives me a moment of pause. Like, you've made that much money for that many years, buddy, and you don't even own your house. You don't even have he rents. And it's awkward to have him be talking about home ownership in light of his own sort of lack of financial acumen. And I don't say this to be, not everybody's a financial wizard, and you don't have to be, but you should be thoughtful, especially if you're running for the vice presidency of the United States, and you should have a certain level of sophistication. One just kind of sort of takes that for granted, that you might have a little sophistication, enough to know that, maybe a mortgage is a good investment. Anyway, that is Tim Walz, AOC, and Kamala Harris with their grand housing plans to put us all in some kind of Soviet Union, God knows what style thing. With that in mind, again, I think I told you, but if you missed it, if you're just joining us right now, there's a special offer going on with one of our great sponsors, American Heart for Gold. TrishLovesGold.com. You can't forget that. Okay, TrishLovesGold.com. I like silver too, and in this case, they have up to $15,000 in free silver if you have a qualifying offer. Just text my name to find out more information to 65532. It's 65532 on your mobile phone. Just get out and text it right now. Text my name, Trish. Learn more, 1-844-495-1115. Again, 1-844-495-1115. Or text Trish to 65532. And then, of course, do not forget, Trish Loves Gold. I do. .com. I love a lot of things. Okay. You also have to subscribe. I love my subscribers. I love all of you guys. You guys have been just amazing. Some of you have reached out through this medium, and we've gotten to know each other. I, again, see so many familiar faces here again on the show.